Hello, my lovely audience. Anyway, welcome to another video. Let's just get right into it. So, before Deku's born, and, well, the SCP Foundation, well, it's kind of had a little bit of its funding cut since close to every single human on the Earth has a superpower, a quirk. So they only really deal with stuff like this guy, or this guy. Not this guy, because you could just say that it's his quirk. Also, technically, with these two, since, they can speak. So in reality, this is the only kind of thing that they have to deal with. So they decide, okay, we actually... No, the SCP Foundation wouldn't have their funding cut since they are technically the government itself. Like, they are pulling the strings of the government. Yeah, I just realized that, the SCP Foundation would not have its funding cut. Actually, yeah, it would, because the O5 Council would just not see all too much of a use. Wow. So, yeah. Everything's fine, everything's normal. The SCP Foundation had their funding cut, and they aren't being put under the spotlight of the O5. Well, two members of the O5, who I'm not going to say the names of because I don't want to be killed, joke, decide, okay, let's do this. And they take a bit of the Scarlet King's DNA, a bit of a human's DNA, specifically a woman, well, a widowed woman, a widow and fertile mother, well, not mother yet, a widow and infertile person by the name of Inko Midoriya, and a bit of the Scarlet King's genetic code, which they got from, well, first of all, the dead body of one of the many eldritch abominations that were released by those 7 women. Poor women. And also a bit of SCP-999. And they decide, you know what, fuck it, let's make an SCP mind control thing. Well, not mind control, more of something just below the Scarlet King. In case you're wondering, this is my little bit of a headcanon on the SCP Foundation, since it has no consistency. It's quite literally just a bunch of people writing different stories. You can be looking at 7 universes at the same time. Like, you can switch from one paragraph saying this happened, and then another one saying these alternate events happened. So any world event, any apocalypse level of threats is one dimension out of the thousands. So I'm gonna just go with this. The Scarlet King is responsible for the SCPs. He is chaos and destruction and in order. And little bits of him have been leaking into the world for centuries, creating these abominations. I'm pretty sure this thing's, like, related to the Scarlet King. 682. Give me a second. Okay. So, yeah. So, Deku's born in a governmental facility and is, quite frankly, under high importance. Because if the child were to snap one day, it would essentially mean the apocalypse, which was an unfortunate non-foresight, considering the child is essentially able to just summon the SCPs out of nowhere. Like, he could just summon this murder lizard and decide, go kill that city block. And he would do it. He could just put this mask on someone and make them decay and be mind-controlled by this psychotic thing. He could unleash the Holy Peanut. He also could have, like, a zombie army, I guess, but not as cool as the Holy Peanut Army. In case you're wondering why I said Holy Peanut Army, SCP-173 is capable of cloning itself through its feces. Yes, it leaves a concoction/mixture of shit and blood on the floor, which then is capable of being converted and transformed into more of them, thus resulting in them having a hive mind and being able to... Okay, one time, the Holy Peanuts, when they were reproducing and the SCP Foundation did not know how to deal with them, staged a whole ass breakout by tapping the walls of their cells to communicate with each other. It was a work of art, and I was so glad that I was there to see it. What? What? Did I say that? No, I didn't. I wasn't there. I totally didn't blow up a wall. Joke. But, yeah. So, Deku's taken to the Quirk Doctor. We do a time skip, and he's taken to the Quirk Doctor. Now, there were two doctors in particular who were supposed to do Deku's quirk, but one of them got a bad case of diarrhea midday and was evicted from the building. The other doctor was unaware of this, so you're gonna see a bit of a little bit of a thing happening. So, if you clicked on this video, just quick disclaimer, if you clicked on this video expecting no blood or gore or anything, I'm gonna try and keep it to a minimum, but this is SCP. We literally have a murder lizard that infinitely regenerates, can become immune to anything, and also wants to kill every human on Earth just because it finds humans disgusting. We have a mask that, when put on, will secrete a black liquid. It constantly secretes the black liquid, which melts through solid objects like xenomorph blood, just slower. And it mind controls the dead, decaying bodies of its host. The Holy Peanut can move faster than you can blink and snap your neck within an instant. Luckily, it only moves when you are not looking at it, so you can just look at it, close one eye, close the other. We have a plague doctor that can kill you at a touch, is very volatile because he has this made-up disease called the pestilence, and also he can turn you into a zombie. This is only a few SCPs. There's a buckler that's immortal. Mr. Deeds. Ring a silver bell, a magic button will appear. You give him a task, he does it, he disappears. You ring it again, he reappears. You can shoot him through the head, he'll come back. You can kill him, he'll come back. You can incinerate him, he'll come back. Okay, I've just been explaining stuff for the past few minutes. Okay. For the past 4 minutes. But, yeah, breathe in, breathe out, focus. Okay, so back to the story. The Quark Doctor is a different one than the one that was hired by the government. This Quark Doctor's quirk was similar to the other one, where if he touched you, he could see your quirk, except the other doctor didn't need to touch you to see the quirk. Now, the second doctor... Okay, so the second doctor who's there, I will call the doctor who's there, the doctor who's there, and the doctor who isn't there, the doctor who isn't there, okay? The doctor who's there is currently in the bathroom, whilst Deku and Inko get called in. The doctor places his hand on Deku, and instead of saying, like, oh, he can shoot fire or something like that, he looks at, well, what he thinks is the hospital building, just outside of where he is, but it's damaged and broken and decrepit. He looks behind him and he sees nothing except corpses and blown up cars and destroyed buildings, and he sees, well, a large lizard walking through the streets. The lizard would then say, "You disgusting scum! You struck down Onazuku. I will rip you to shreds!" And he would see the same green-haired boy, but older. He would have a cut on his arm and multiple injuries, like bruises and scratches. Nothing major, but he seemed to be smiling and laughing uncontrollably as what appeared as a tall white figure, like bleach white, like he was bleached, is running, ripping people to shreds while screaming in agony. He sounds like he's in agony. Whilst a plague doctor walks down the road calmly, with a mirage of zombies behind him. The doctor would say, "Not only do I smell the pestilence covering the city, you people desire to wish Midoriya. Now that is an unpunishable defense. At least when you have pestilence you can't control it, but I apologize, you all are gonna have to die." Now what really scares him is the fact that, well, there seems to be more of them. There seems to be hundreds of other creatures he can't make out. They're too far away, but dozens of creatures of similar origin. He looks down the road and walks a bit before seeing a creature that resembled, at least could have resembled a human once, but it was merged to the ground, and it looked like it was just made out of muscle, and it was screeching, and he saw another person with similar skin issues, similar muscle issues, except he was alive, he was screaming in pain, he was a human, as more of these creatures would come and swarm him, rubbing up against him in order to, well, he thinks infect them. He would walk back a bit before seeing a car sprout an eye and then multiple legs, as it would then begin hitting buildings and corpses, as he would hear gunshots behind him as a similar creature with an eye, but it was a gun, was running around, just shooting shit. Yes, this actually is an SCP. It's a species of parasites that only inhabit technology, and upon touching technology, they spread their children instantaneously. It can be any form of technology, from anything as complicated as a supercomputer to anything as simple as a basic lock, a very basic lock, like not even the key locks, the locks that you pull the little thing. Just running around shooting people. He backs up against a wall and, well, looks into a nearby pond and sees some kind of creature in it. He, well, does a dumb thing and puts his head through the pond, and it's as if the pond was a portal. He looks around and sees a large leviathan creature, a few thousand meters big, long. Wait, no, it's not a few thousand meters. It's over. It's so far he can't even see it. It had multiple red eyes and several teeth. Several millions of teeth. Just millions of teeth in its mouth. It would see him and roar, and just come after him. He would barely get his head out of the water, because he was almost paralyzed still with fear. He would hear someone say, To think I was beginning to like some of you. Shame. This person appeared to be wearing a black mask, well, not black mask. He was wearing a pure white opera mask with black fluid coming out of it, and it looked like his body was decaying. Really, though, shouldn't have hit, well, Izuku, I guess. He's technically our master, but also at the same time he tells us to just call him Izuku. Why am I even saying this? Oh yeah, villains usually do an evil monologue before they kill their victims, but usually that gives the victims time to escape. Yeah, not this time, bitch. He would say picking up the gun creature and shooting it right through the victim's head. Guess you guys do serve a use. He would say letting the creature go and continue its murder spree. It takes, literally, a nearby nurse to just touch the man's shoulder for him to snap out of it. What the fuck? What the fuck? The doctor would say, backing up from the child, like, what the fuck? Usually I just see, like, their quirk is summoning quirk, not them causing the apocalypse. He would say butt scooching. Give me a second. Okay, back. Had to get something to drink. Yeah, the doctor would then call our young Izuku a villain, saying that he needs to be put down and that he'll never be a hero. He's just doomed to be a villain and he's just scum. Deku would begin tearing up as an orange blob would begin enveloping him and make a cooing noise. Before anyone could react, two eyes had formed on the blob, and it appeared to be, well, a creature with the consistency of peanut butter, the color of orange, and the smell of whoever's favorite food. The doctor smelled macaroni, Inko smelled flowers, Deku smelled, I don't know, like, burning tar? That would be so... I don't know what he smelled, so... And another creature would emerge. A small teardrop-shaped creature with one big eye in the middle, and the tip of its teardrop body would be very long and elongated. The under half of its body would appear to be a wheel. It would scoot over to Deku with others of its kind, and in a comforting manner. The doctor would proceed to take out an axe, like, if you're not gonna do it, I'm gonna do it. Deku would proceed. As the other doctor would come along, the doctor who was there would come along and just stop him, like, wait, you're not Carl. You're not Carl. Yeah, he was sick. He got sick from diarrhea. Now I have to put this kid down. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. A long, slender, white creature, like white, like bleached, with red hands and a red mouth, would just appear as the doctor who was there, I'll just name him Dave, as Dave would turn around to make a phone call. Yeah, his quirk works exactly like we said. Like we thought. His quirk works exactly. And this doctor, right here, who's not Carl got sick. Yeah, he just made the kid cry. Can you imagine what kind of eldritch abomination he would summon if he cried? He would be cut off. He would begin talking about, possibly evacuating everyone there, but he would be cut off by the screams of SCP 096. In case if you want a better look at him, then, here you go. You could also, go with this as a better look, but, yeah. He would hear the scream of this guy behind him, and immediately think, well, the creature would then curl up into a ball, covering its face. as Dave would proceed to say, you know what, fuck it, every man for himself. Also, quick little piece of advice. Let's hope, when you get to heaven, say hello to my gran. Anyway, yeah, I'm just gonna jump out this window because that's safer. The doctor would say, jumping out the window. What does he mean by that? Oh my goodness, it's that pale thing I saw. The creature would then jump up, run at him, break his arm to the degree the bone was showing, but not at the joint. He would break it just before the joint, so a jagged piece of his bone was just sticking out. Then he would break his arm again at the joint, so his arm was now in his armpit. Then he would break it again, curling his arm up into a ball. What the fuck? Before he could finish, the Shy Guy would grab his face, crush it, then swallow his arm whole, chomp on it. In case you're wondering how he managed that, the Shy Guy can actually unhinge his jaw 9 times more than the average human. I know, scary. In case you're wondering, this is the Shy Guy. See? 9 times more. He then then he bites off his arm, gut checks him, grabs him by the leg, and flails him around. Deku just says, stop. He would say, still crying his eyes out. The creature would just look at him like, dude, he just insulted you, made you cry, and he looked at my face. Do you seriously... Whatever the boss says. He would then let go of the doctor's arm, and then just wrap Deku in a bear hug. The doctor would currently be on the ground, bloodied up. Deku would not be held accountable for his accidental crime, because it was the first time his quirk activated, and also, well, you know, he has the entirety of the government on his side. We do a bit of a time skip to when, Deku goes back to school. He's actually grown quite attached to the eyeballs and SCP-999. So, he would go to school, and, well, with SCP-999 in his backpack, busy chomping away at lollipops, Deku would arrive. Give me a second. Okay, so SCP-999 is in his backpack, eating candy. He arrives at the school, Bakugo showing off his quirk, and Deku's like, well, Bakugo showing off her quirk. Yes, I did just say her. Wow, 2 within the same few months. Wow. So, Deku would just take out 999 like, I can make monsters. 999 would just wave like, hi! And then just cling on to Deku and tickle him. Ew, what the hell is that thing? Bakugo would say before getting the slime on her. 999 covering her, and she immediately begins laughing her ass off and, like, gets a 10 times dose of euphoria. That's what 999's ability is. He can cure depression, give you joy, and tickles you. He's the consistency of peanut butter and loves sweets, and is very dog-like, and is also adorable, and a happy being of just pure joy. So Bonko's immediately like, you know what, never mind, forget what I was saying, this thing is amazing. Everyone else is skeptical, like, ew. Except for some of the girls who are like, oh, so cute! But, yeah, most of the school's against Deku for the slime creature, and quite frankly, he doesn't know if he can create anything else that's cute besides the eyeballs, so him and Bakugo end up being kind of rejects at the school. I know, weird, because in canon, It's the opposite, with Bakugo being not rejected at all, him being king. And also Bakugo's a girl. Weird. But, yeah. That's just how this goes. As, of course, one day when Deku is alone, fully, he doesn't have any of the security guards who follow him 24/7 because major threat, like major threat. Actually, no, before this, I'll just tell you a bit of an interaction. Okay, so one time, Deku is with his 2 security guards, who are typically stationed with him, just walking to school. He gets there. One of the bullies who does not work for Bakugo, remember, is like, you and your weird-ass quirk shouldn't even enter this place. Now move aside so I can beat the shit out of you. One of the guards just straight up points their fucking gun at this kid's head, like, back off. If the target is even slightly enraged, they are capable of being a Kita-class threat, and if they really wanted to, they could be an Apollyon level threat. So I would recommend you back off before I put so much lead in your head that you might as well be in one of you might as well be in the blah, blah. You might as well be the 18th century. You might as well be one of the fancy people in the 18th century. Fun fact: did you know that in somewhere around the 18th century, people used plates made of lead? Yes, it was an entire tradition to eat tomatoes on plates made of lead. Actually, most foods on plates made of lead. Everyone back then thought tomatoes were poisonous, and one time a guy tried to assassinate like a British king by putting a tomato in the stew. Just made things tastier. But yeah, it wasn't until very recently that we've learned, oh, tomatoes aren't poisonous, lead is. So yeah. After that, the kid was shot in the leg by live bullets, and then was held at gunpoint at his head. Like, if you want us to make it quick, just speak. Just say. Deku had already walked off at this point. They immediately chase after him. But yeah, that kid's not walking again. They shot everywhere in his leg. He is not walking again. His leg is broken, beyond repair. Also, it could have been the fact that they, were beating his legs in with taser batons, but nah. But yeah, one time Deku's alone in the school cafeteria. He doesn't have his security guards because Kita-class threat, and who would attack Deku after that? Same bullies. The exact same bullies. Bakugo was looking the other direction. The bullies were holding Deku up against a wall, going on about how he's weak and useless. And then they hit him a few times, causing some bruises, and they cut him a few times, causing a few cuts. Deku would feel anger and hear voices just yelling, and let me out! Let me out! After one of the bullies, stabs the side of Deku, he snaps and yells, "You wanna see why my quirk's dangerous? I'll show you!" He would yell, sending out, drumroll, SCP-682. The large lizard would come out and just whack them all out of the way with its tail. It would then yell, "You disgusting scum! If I was allowed out more often, you would probably already be dead. But you tried to kill Izuku, and for that, for that, I will have your heads on a silver platter. Have to be a bit more quiet. The creature would then yell that out, biting into one of the kids, while severing its leg. The kid's leg. The kid with this quirk that they used to cut Deku would proceed to try and cut off one of 682's legs, and it would regenerate almost instantly. You really think that's gonna do anything? You'll make a fine meal, even though just looking at you makes me wanna throw up my lunch. The creature would say, gobbling on the kid's arm, ripping off a good chunk of it along with the arm. As Deku, who's currently in a bit of a frenzy, would then release 049, 173, 035, and SCP-3199, and 096, and oh, I know this one. Oh no, that's not a good one. So I'll just say he releases it too. 1012. In case you're wondering what 012 is, I believe it's the blood poem. At least it's called that. Somewhat, I think. Now this SCP, if they view it, they will attempt to complete the poem using their own blood, but will eventually stop and kill themselves, saying that the poem was impossible to complete. So he would make that. He would create this abomination. In case you're wondering what this is, 01399 is a chicken-human hybrid that runs around, it runs around like a chicken, it runs around like a chicken abomination. It, constantly throws up its own eggs, which are highly durable and will hatch within, at the very least, I think, a day. Somewhere around that margin, maybe sooner, maybe less. It runs incredibly fast. Not that durable, but it's also very deadly because it can easily cut you in half with those claws. It's very fast as well, and it has killed dozens of people just off of the fact that it can be surprisingly stealthy. Maybe it's because they're mostly nocturnal, and the habitats they live with, and also they can turn their necks 360 degrees because, their necks are so long. The reason he didn't release 008-2 is because he's not an IKEA. No, this is serious. This is an actual SCP. 3008-1 is an infinite IKEA. Except it's the door. The front door to the building, which is specifically a portal to an entire dimension, which is just IKEA. Everywhere. It's just one big IKEA building, because you can go in through the walls, and you'll just enter a regular IKEA. But 3008-1 is is essentially a door, an IKEA door, which leads into a dimension filled with that's just IKEA. And then this thing, which are the employees, which are weird mannequin creatures, become highly hostile only during the night, specifically at the time IKEA closes. Otherwise, they're normal. Which is why Deku didn't spawn them, because the IKEA thing's a bit dumb. So I'm going with it's because they are, only hostile during the night. The IKEA creatures can be killed like a regular human. They just usually swarm creatures with their ability to increase their hand size. At least I believe so. It's either that or they have colossal hands, but I'm going with they can increase the size of their hands. And sheer numbers. Now, people are in the Infinite IKEA and they are surviving, and also the IKEA gets restocked every night, magically. But, yeah, he ends up spawning all the hostile SCPs. As 049 goes, I smell pestilence. And also, I'm a bit, how you would say, disappointed in you people. Yes, this is what it looks like. It is a multi-winged angel creature saying, "Be not afraid, sexy." Wait, there's a joke I want to show you. There's literally an SCP called SCP-230, the gayest man alive. How does that even happen? Yes, there's also an SCP called Wireweed 229. Also, Jack Proton's Atomic Zapper. Some of these SCPs are a bit outrageous. Also spawns SCP-106, which is a decrepit, weird, creepy old man who has the distinct ability of going through solid objects and dragging people into an entire, well, he drags them into an entire different dimension, and, well, you can read here at the bottom, but yeah, he drags them into an entire different dimension and tortures them until they lose their mind or die, until they start enjoying it. So he ain't. So if you're a masochist or one of the weird people, yeah, then he won't even bother with you because you'll end up enjoying it, and that isn't entertaining to him, apparently. I imagine him and Midnight would get along well. Actually, they wouldn't get along well, since Midnight would actually kind of enjoy it, so he would stay away from her. But yes. But old man. Oh, didn't mean to do that. So, give me a second. So, yes, we would then end up resulting in what, well, the Doctor saw. The apocalypse, well, not apocalypse, it was only affecting a city block, but yes, that was all the SCPs he started off with. Then he suddenly began adding more and more, so, yeah. That's what the Doctor saw, and the government proceeds to cover this up using amnestics, which are essentially the SCP version of that little neutralizer thing that the Men in Black use, which is essentially a memory erasing drug. They use that, and a lot of cover stories to actually display the damage, like villain attack, many people were injured, everyone else his brains repressed the memories permanently, and just weird stuff like that. So, Bakugo would of course be a part of this, enjoying and reveling in the fact that she got a chance to finally beat the shit out of every bully who made fun of 999. If you so much as even insult this adorable blob, death is the penalty. Seriously, death is the penalty. Also, he's kind of indestructible, but yeah. Anyway, I'm ending this off here since I don't know what to do, so goodbye, my lovely, lovely audience. Bye-bye.